Hello, Collective. Welcome to a timeless collective insight reading for you. Bear in mind a few aspects while we anticipate your reading. That to bear in mind, you've tapped into a collective reading, and it is important to use your discernment to take all the bits and pieces that resonate with you and leave behind with the reading anything that may not. For this is not a one-to-one, all right? A bit of information about me is that I am seventh that reads these energies for you. And I am a master healer that provides remote wellness alignments and tarot intuitive insights. Feel free to dabble in the description box below to see or read more information about me or how to maneuver between two channels that I run, one of which is this one, which belongs to the energies of Bastet, and her sister channel Sekhmet. Access can be found in the description box below. And to know about those energies, to have a relationship with the energies is as irrelevant to the story as what may be here with you at this moment and what you may take from it. Remember that feminine and masculine energies within a reading are non-gender specific. However, remember that femininity encapsulates both feminine and masculine energies, and masculinity also encapsulates feminine and masculine energies. All right. Okay. So we are not feeling the best. Not feeling the best. Shit is just adding up. It's like one after another, after another, after another. It's heavy. It's heavy. Oof, yeah. It's heavy. It's heavy. In the world of elements, in the world of four elements that we get to alchemize into one, and we can rationalize by holding on to one and bring understanding one by one. We try to learn logic. We try to understand what causes the relationship within what not only triggers our emotions, yet how to embrace or even define what an emotion is. There are so many layers within the effects of what emotions do. In the four elements available to us, the element of air is more or less right here, the cup in the air. And the days upon the individual is not necessarily in the liking of seeing this cup that's in the air, but more the angular viewpoint of the cups in front of them. So we're going to try to take logic from this card and say that the air would be the cup in the air. And then we're left with fire, earth, and water on the ground. In no particular order. In the niche that I am master healer of, and what defines in the description box and a little bit of digging is a difference between what I'm attuned to be and what it is that I provide. And in it is the let's call it the light codes of, at least in bare minimum, where these energies of channel labeling are labeled as, which is a duality given to you single-handedly via one channel, but it's meant to take in together. And it's the light codes of blue and the light codes of all the vibrations that emotions of blue would provoke. And even if it provokes, maybe it also hinders. And then if we're living in the pendulum of an emotion provoking and hindering, where is the logic? And then we try to examine what gives us the blueness of thinking that water element is blue. And yes, I do remember that this is the air element cup, but all the denominations of what is to be water symbolically is to say that, well, we paint the sky blue, we skate. We skate. What do we skate on? We skate on ice. Ice is water. Water is blue that we paint, but at the same time, ice is not blue. Ice is clear. We look at the blue sky, it's blue. We look at the ocean, it's blue. We paint it, it's blue again, to be redundant. And yet, when we scientifically study the element of sky or the element of water, it's not blue. And boy, is that of a lot of blueness to try to figure out how much blue isn't blue. Why am I saying this? Because the pressure density of what we're not holding up this whole entire time is challenging you to embrace what makes you human, which is emotions, and to constantly question what it is that you are, is you being a natural rhythm to the frequency of human frequency. This human frequency is a work of art on its own. It has ability to transcend ideas, spark hope, hold a hand, lend a hand, and not always have to talk about the most difficult of travels, yet it's readily to more or less talk about what's to come. The focus of not the burdens, but the survival. To get there are usually the struggles within that journey. The teetering waves, the push and pulls, the tsunamis, the betrayal, the disloyalties, the cheating, the lying, the discoloration, the manipulation, financial distress, duress, mental, physical, spiritual duress, chronic pain, all the things that are consequential, quote unquote, on the human experience, which, if we were to allow ourselves to live in the curiosity and embrace of motivation, however it may be defined, is to embrace a moment of thyself, of potentially gaining clarity, gaining a moment in time of stillness to be able to travel through the journey. Doing so is an element that is not always logically defined, yet it is sure as hell fucking felt, at least to oneself. And when someone feels the pressure density of their emotions, we're saying that there is a lot of blue in chaos. In Reiki, for example, you would say that the throat chakra and the third eye chakra, the sixth chakra, is blue. Sixth is dark indigo, and the light sky blue would be the throat. And in the sequence of Reiki, it's crown up here 7th, violet, with indigo here, blue here, throat, and then green here, heart. So from green to violet, there's a lot of fucking blue, okay? And you could more or less see this anatomically. The beauty of existence is that from here on down, the neck on down, that's your feet in the ground, ocean energy, the ocean of emotions of the heart, right? And then the neck up is the sky blues and the sunrise and the sunsets, having to wake up to the rising of the day and lay down in the sunrise, sunsetting of the evening. Okay? Separate, but equal in the throat being the channel to more or less then say, well, the fucking power between this two is fucking immense. 1 is great. 2, whoo, together, whoa. And what does it mean to be together in a world where the blue isn't blue and the blue isn't blue, meaning the sky blue isn't sky blue and the dark blue, ocean blue isn't blue? What is that? Well, is it then clear as ice? And then what does it mean to have a feeling of maybe density in the beginning of the reading, and then maybe having a little bit less going on to 1150 into the reading? How do you feel now? And all the way up to that point, being able to rationalize or even bring question to, who or what do you think that is? The question, the answer, the question, the curiosity, the fact, the fiction, the pros, the cons, the forgiveness, the betrayal, the lying, the cheating, the secrets, the saying, the affirmations, the cunningness. All of you at the same time. Who is responsible of that? The foreseeable knowing of possible consequences and the foreseeable calculations of those to come. Those are situations that probably have really great stories and maybe excuses and maybe logic. Who knows? But what it does shape is your own personal journey to what it means to figure out the 4 quote-unquote basic elements of life. Now, the reason why I said earlier that the teachings of what I perform, which is not of Reiki, which is of the honorings of the energies that I work for, is air. Air is what calculates everything to be able to function. For the water to be I'm making up words now. To foreseeably be either blue or clear or any other color. And air brings oxygen to what makes you angry, what makes you passionate, what motivates you, what gets you to be concerned about materialistic things, responsibility, accountability, and the showing up for oneself, for others. That's fire. And earth is wherever you travel, the relationship you have to all the elements, reaction, and the feelings of earth. Whether you feel earth, whether earth feels you. Having a transparent relationship with that, what it is that you consider home, what motivates you in regards of groundedness and feeling safe. That's earth energy. All that becomes ignited by air. So air, in the honor of all elements, to me, is the most important element to bring beauty to the human existence. What shapes the betrayal of emotions is what the half steps and the forward steps and the backward steps and the misquotes and the and the good quotes and the inspirational coaches and inspirational quotes. I think I said that already. Teachers, also masters, prophets, church dwellers. I won't call them out. More distinct than that, okay? However you can create and say and state your story is however much you may or may not know that your ego has been paving that whole entire journey. And what keeps you struggling, perhaps, is a denomination of a concern after breath, not the concern before. And that is a concern to the major mystery of what you think is the devil. The irony that I love with the inspirational quotes and however we get to contradict ourselves with even blue being blue or not, is that the devil is lived backwards. And in it, we have the word evil. And because we then have evil, we then hate the word evil. But how can we hate the word evil if the same letters create the word live? So this is the confusion element of what this energy of high vibrational influence can do to the human frequency. Confuse the shit out of the human experience for the person, the thing, the being that's having the human frequency of experience. Questioning yourself whether you're living. Who's controlling your living? Who's making it justifiable for you to live? Why is the question even having to be born in order for it to be a freedom of a thought? What is free will and the cost of being chained? Existentialism in a world where there is no other. We pay rent. And because of all those atrocities that on the same base level seem somehow, just because we can't change it by tomorrow, would probably be a good gossip of a dramatic quote that some people would say. A lot of hashtags of, well, we can't fix that shit by tomorrow. We need that. We need it. We need it. No, what we really need is to sleep, to rise, to sunset, to wake, rise, and sunset, sleep. That's what we need to do. And in the midst of it, there might be a lot of quote unquote like moments. We call it time, but other might call it moments. And moments, there could be so many moments. There could be moments of moments of moments of moments within what you think is a singular moment of time. Whoa. You're not supposed to make sense of the human experience. You're supposed to live out the human experience. You're supposed to be able to trust yourself of also evil energy that you're capable of. If you're capable of lying, then you're capable of evil. Wookity wookity. We need to take a little bit taboo out of what it means to be mystical and inquisitive. We need to take a bit out of the song and dance of exploring a topic. Doesn't make the topic bigger than me talking about it. You don't give something outside of yourself more power than you yourself, and only you, because that's the only way power outside of you can affect you, is how much you're willing to show up for yourself. And if you always show up for yourself and you know the run of the game, going in, going out, and going through, you're a master of yourself. No one can fuck with you. So that's to have a fantastic relationship with yourself, which conquer that without saying a single word. Imagine the surprise of being able to then live in the peace of seeing the sky as sky blue and the ocean is turquoise blue or indigo blue or schmucky, dirty, cold, temperate, beautiful, or ugly, mystical, or paranormal. Because that maybe be the part of storytelling to keep the human existence exciting. And at the same time, not be afraid that there is good that could be done, but you have to show up for the good to be done. If you are a cheerleader to damning out the energies that you're just not comfortable with, you're part of the problem. Because you're admitting that you're giving yourself attention to something else, which means that something else has power over you. Every time you speak ill of something that isn't belonging to you to speak ill of because they haven't asked you your opinion is when you speak ill of something more than yourself. And if you're someone who's trying to manifest for yourself and figuring out why you're stuck, well, it's because deep down inside, it's not a full balance of feminine energy, which is gracing yourself with feminine masculinity within that, and masculinity, which is also embracing femininity and masculinity within that point. This is not to be feared. It is a card. It is essentially more recyclable than most of the toxins that we put in our body. This is nothing. So the devil, over on my sister channel, is a series, the devil series, where I challenge the devil to be the energies of the ego that doesn't know whether or not it's operating of light and or of darkness, so wants to play a game. We're not playing that game here. Here we're seeking more or less emotional redemption. And that is clear in the surface value into the blessing of the reading that we're using tarot to tell the story, is that it is emotional. It is sometimes undefinable, sometimes clear, sometimes not. But we all have to give honor that in order to make sense of things, we have to be alive in order to try to make sense of them. And alive is not just having two eyes to see, a nose to smell, a mouth to talk, because there are other individuals who have more or less a spectrum of a shade of their own expression, which is not a sign of weakness. It's most likely a sign of superpower. And to be able to express within that superpower who and what it is that you are is a form of not having to justify whether or not one is a free will or not. So the emotions teach you that, because they're a nautical compass to the ship of ownership that you have, to the nuclear quantum magic of energy that you are embodied in and zipped up in, called a skin of the organ. And that is the true cup in the air. That is the true element of beauty. You are that and then some. You are meant to feel the moments before, middle, during, after, up, down, deep, and without. That is pure human embrace. To live in the prejudice is to not dance with the ability to change your own perspective. And most often than times than not, the brain needs to be shocked in a massive load of trigger to be able to get through its own detox, which then would mean, in this analogy, the root cause to your beginning. Recently I found out apparently that they've recently through science figured out what did come before, the chicken or the egg, and they are saying the chicken. I don't know who they is. I don't know the link. Don't ask me to send you this stuff because I won't. I'm not going to open up the comments because people are already complaining about that. No. There's a a need to pull back the reins of what it means to feel deeply. To feel deeply is to be anatomically alone in your quote unquote misery. However, a moment ago I asked you to challenge yourself with a perspective. It does not have to be misery where you are. You were not taught how to change that perspective into full power, to be able to step with all the resources, small or weak or grand or grandeur or royal wealth or purely poor, to be able to make it to where the destination that you intend to go to. Breadth of knowledge will teach you that, but if you focus on only things that are not the part of the problem, you will be continuously looking backwards when you're supposed to look forwards. If you look a bit closer to the cup in the air that's given to you and change the perspective, of what gets triggered. And know that what gets triggered of seeing an image upside down or downside or diagonally, some people care about this angular reading, and there is no offense to however it makes you discuss what you anatomically feel the need to emote, whether that is of teaching, whether that is of mastery, whether that is of full disclosure, or even if it's a fucking lie. The veil of transparency, there is none. Meaning, there are energies who can see right through you without you knowing what they see of you. But if you know what they see because you see yourself, then that gives you a better gauging as to why you do have ownership to make choices in life. Yeah. Okay. Oh, shit. The chaos of the mind comes by the people, places, and things. The honor, the sayings that you shouldn't, that you can't, that you will, that you must, the need, the bills, the due dates, existential crisis. And boy, can I relate. Excuse me. But look how something small in an actually big moment, because this moment in speaking about it in real time within this reading isn't a small fucking problem. It might be a huge problem. It might be a concern that you wish you could turn it off and you just can't turn it off. You might be yelling at me, cussing me out, like if planning to give me a thumbs down, and just, you're saying don't oversimplify it. That's not the goal. However, if you feel that that's the case, then that is also, I'm going to say, loyal to the cause, part of the problem. You are meant to feel what you are feeling alone. You are meant to feel the wrath of what is to be me at this point in the Knight of Swords energy, to make you question what your own knowledge is. I am cut off to your story. I don't have full disclosure. I have my own full disclosure, trying to tell you that you can also more or less get your full disclosure, because you have the ability, because it is in your hands of your doing, because you have the hand and you're holding the gauntlet. The question is that thing right there? No, right there. Supposed to have some fire to it? Or are you paying attention too much to what is already burnt out to not be able to bring breaths of air to your emotions? And wherever the energy lies, it's a symbiosis of being confused in chaos and not having a refined relationship with your ego, who is 99% responsible for the misery or the accolades of your day. Listen, there are so many. I'm not gonna go through that because it's not fair to the reading to stay stuck in trying to rationalize emotions when it's just not easy to turn them off, right? It's not fucking easy to turn them off. If you could, we would. Take the light switch, turn that shit off. Turn it off. The question always tends to then be, well, how do we deal with it? And me saying that in a collective reading is not going to help. It's not going to get to you. It's going to get to a version, a form of a story. But if you can listen, lean in, and find the frequency that where it would be your story, then I wonder if you can lean back out, listen more intently to what it is that you leaned in on, use your discernment to put the pieces together of your thought, challenge yourself to rise to your own intellect, your own pain, your own warrior stance of knowing that you're a fucking king and queen and all that, and then some of your own goddamn emotions, no matter what drama life comes and throws at you. You could do that too. Time does not heal wounds. That is sure is a lie. If you, however, listen to every droplet of concern to the concern at hand, boy, oh boy. Yep, like I said, if you would listen to the emotions at hand, if you are someone who thinks that you have to chisel out a moment to meditate, you have the idea of meditation wrong. And I'm not saying wrong to belittle your intelligence. I'm saying wrong to teach you the triggering that there's something else you can put in its place. Meaning, if you've been sitting down or you think that a pretzel pose is the only way to ticket to nirvana, it's wrong. The moment you understand the most important fundamentals of rising and sunsetting, when you be lying down, boy, is that some meditation. And some of y'all feel a lot. Some of y'all feel a lot of energies rising into your day, or struggling to settle some of the energies when you're sunsetting for the night. And that could be for so many reasons. And all of them are going to be existential for human frequency. And all of them are going to be consequential symptoms of the dirty, vile footprints of recycled, toxic waste of energy. That's out in the skies, you know? All the pollution of trash is out in the skies. Mix in more or less with the oxygen you breathe. Boy. That might have been too much. At the same time, you were once told a few years ago to put something in front of your face or on your face, while some of you still do, and you believe that that is your ticket to nirvana. And if you decide to leave my channel before even entering, that's fine too. Knight of Pentacles. Because I have no problem calling out bullshit in the way that I desire to, and challenge whether or not it was meant to be triggered in the first place. Judgment. That's the ticket of the highest classification to figure out if somebody messes with you or not, if somebody likes you or not. Because to like you is the first step of loving you. Just like we have to like ourselves in order to be able to love somebody. To have honest relationship with ourselves is the best way that we can have honest relationship with another person. It comes from a place where that hunger and need to be there, to get there, is so provocative, so alluring, and so warrior-like that we'll do anything to get that. And to stay on that frequency is a sign of sustainability that is pure magic and cannot be harmed, as long as you remember to bring breath onto yourself, even if it's a little ugly, even if it's a little messy, even if it's a little not sterile. Because the body and many things that make us who we are is not only resilient, but teachable. And in a world where this is just an experience, there are other energies out there that can help us make sense with our energies. If we can accept that we can go to neighbors within a community, or we can go to a certain location to get assistance, help, or attention to our misery and our concerns, then why wouldn't you believe that that could be done celestially? We're gonna erase the story. Because sometimes that's what the emotion needs, right? Sometimes it needs us to listen to it, to write it down, and to finish it. Some of us want to hold on to it because we want to make sure we get all the bits and pieces as much as we can to feel like we have enough of, if not all, that we need to tell this story, and devour the need to devote time to tell the story only once. Because to tell it over and over again is not something that is desired. Telling it once tells the tale and then allows it to be let go. Is it simple? No. But to remember that the end tale will be a tale being told of simplicity is exactly how long you get to then spend telling your story to somebody you will then notice will listen to however long you need to tell thy story. And if one feels then we need to be more pickier in who can be that close within our walls of not only our mind, but our material world, it's a very good place to start. Jesus, that was a wad. The Wheel of Fortune. I told you in the first half that this is who you are. You are everything. You are the island. You are the coin. You are the earth energy. You are the air that you are the pentacle that you are bringing air to. You are the emotion that you are bringing air to. You are the fire of motivation, of anger, of pain, of security, of finance, of e-commerce, of justice, all that. And then some. And to see and feel and know how fortunate you are is as yielding and unwielding as we may or may not know. I don't even know how I just said that. Right, whatever. But you get the story, huh? And boy, do we feel it. Three of Swords, Eight of Cups here. You know, this is the story. This is the story that now we're saying in the air. This is why we're fucking hurt. The emotions have three swords in it. Air has put three swords into the cup of water. This is water element. By the picture, by the cloud, by the chaos of the storm, by the perception that this card gives off. The perception of the card is saying that you're something of the emotions, whatever you think is the heart, the symbolism of the heart, is broken, is definitely not maybe happy. I don't see happiness here. This is gray. This is at best neutral, at best anticipatory, possibly, because maybe the clouds will pass. But 3 swords into the heart says that is a done deal. Whichever one was the first blow was a lethal shot. And yet we allow ourselves to live within this stress. Who gave us this lethal shot? Who made us feel broken, and then we still return? This is a 3. This is not a 9. And yet how much pressure do we give this card? How much appeal and concern do we give this energy to? I wiped the board, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between and beyond. The 4 of Cups, the pretzeled yogi, staring at the cups. This is that emotion. And the journey of the 8 of Cups, now you have 8 fucking cups to travel between all the shit that you're worried about. When these are just the subordinates of the fucking 3 elements of the major first fucking blow. Someone is okay to live in the infamous pain. Someone feels that you are to only live in the pressure density that this world makes you feel, and that you are not worthy of anything else. You are meant to only remain at a 3, while I go and do whatever I the fucking want to do. But you stay at a 3 and you will be challenged to remain there. And your pain of symptoms until this cloud passes. And boy, do I really hope that this cloud never passes, because of my rage to control this cloud over you. You are my subordinate. I will make you think that this is our everlasting journey when I truly have my back turned on you. If I tell you I am the wheel, you think I'm fortunate. If I tell you you're fortunate, you think I'm the wheel of opportunity for wielding you in. But you, lo and behold, don't know that you're being yielded. This, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between and beyond, is in all surface levels and all the layers of the appeal of the game of figuring this shit out. Wrong. I have said blue. In Reiki, it's violet, indigo blue, blue, and green. I said green is the heart chakra. Why is this heart red? Why have you maybe, most importantly, and not of late, don't give me the fucking I send the green of heart emoji. No. You more or less most likely started drawing the fucking heart as red, when symbolically it would be so dangerous for that heart to be red. The green chakra is at least two chakras away from the color red. It's green, yellow, orange, and then red. Why do we paint the heart is red? So, what helps us bring through this? All this disappointments, all the ridicule, all the I like you sevens or I don't like you sevens, is that no matter what, What makes you remain here in this moment, at least with me at this second, is that we brought oxygen to ourselves. We were automatically attuned, whether you subconsciously remembered to take a breath or not, doesn't matter. Ace of Cups is back. Once you realize the relationship I painted of you, or of something towards you, is the relationship between the Eight of Cups and the Three of Swords, and then the logic of what it is that you define to be beckoned to let go of or not, is when you take the power back. I almost saw Judgment fly out. Alright. We have the Empress and the Fool. Ether energy is being very kind and letting you know that the pressure density of all the labels are meant to provocatively work in your favor. And they say provocatively to lure you in of curiosity, because you are subdued by seduction, and seduction is how you'll answer. Interesting. How alluring the opportunity, and how fundamentally so close to unconditionally part of the cause. All right. Yep, I'm being told to leave the messages where they are. With that being said, Collective, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing.